Welcome back. Here we are again. So another video. Today's video is going to be on the Suffolk export market. So something that interests me and it sort of came up, sort of triggered it after my last purchase, which is the Suffolk Corporation behind me, the 19-inch Corporation. Now, Suffolk is no different than a lot of the other big companies. Obviously, Ransoms, Greens and Shanks, they all exported all over the world. Suffolk obviously was no different. They also did as well. Later on, Suffolk became part of the Qualcast group, which was Atco, Webb, Suffolk. It was all one company, and then later on still was taken over by the Bosch group. But it's quite an interesting topic, I think, export, the mowers, and it does seem to be that the export machines quite often are basically the same as the home market machines, but quite often there's a few little differences, and some can be like just the name, or should I say the model of the machine. The model name of the machine could be different, maybe the paint colour as well, and maybe a few mechanical differences. And that's sort of what interests me, and you ask yourself, you know, why did they make these changes? So quite interesting, I think, anyway. So what we've got today, we've got behind us, as probably a lot of you have seen, we ran it and cut some grass, the Suffolk 19-inch Corporation here, and then in front we've got the Suffolk 19-inch Real Mow, which is basically the same machine. Now, the Real Mow definitely suggests to me that name that was aimed at the American European market. So it does sort of suggest that that's what it is, and I haven't been able to find any sales literature information in the UK about the Real Mow. The Corporation, there is a reasonable amount, you can find quite a bit, but it does seem there's nothing that I found on the Real Mow. So I think the Real Mow was a machine that was obviously produced by Suffolk, and this particular one, for whatever reason, and maybe a few others over here, never quite made it over and wasn't exported, but was obviously built for the export market. So I think what we'll do today is we'll go through the differences yeah, we'll talk about the differences. So I'm going to get my glasses on, we'll zoom you in, and then we'll have a closer look at both machines. So let's look at the wheels first, at the first obvious bit. So the wheels here, so the Real Mow, we've got Real Mow Mark II, made in England, and no mention of Suffolk whatsoever. If we scroll over, we can see the Corporation. So we've got Corporation Mark II, Suffolk, and top and bottom made in England. So the wheels are different to start with. The Real Mow, apart from on the engine plaque, there's no real mention of Suffolk anywhere. So it just says Real Mow. So we're looking at the machine here. We can see both a 19-inch cut, and zooming in, we'll have a look at the engine. Now, we can tell that that is the 98cc cast iron Suffolk engine. Now, the 98cc's normally had, they've got 8 cylinder head bolts, and we can probably just see, we can see 3 there, there'll be 3 the other side, and then we've got 1 either side. The 75s only had 6. So if we look at closely the real Mow, we can probably see the number there. So we've got E8207. Let's go on to the corporation. Again, we can see the corporation's got the 98cc cast iron, and again we've got the E8207. So you can see that it is the same engine, same type of fuel tank, exhaust on the later machines are these oblong type exhausts. Both are running the Zenith carburetor. See that a bit closer. I would say the real Mow, that air filter is not correct. It's obviously off a later Suffolk engine. The corporation's got the right one on there, which is this. It has the elbow, and then the air filter popped on the end. So a lot of it is very, 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 very similar. Now, one of the other obvious differences, we've got the colour scheme. So the later corporations, they had a green chassis and this sort of off-white engine cowling, fuel tank and handlebars. This is a reasonably late-ish one, but not one of the last. It has these lovely chrome hubcaps. The one on the other side is much shinier, much nicer. The real Mow, the paintwork is obviously, you've got this very light, slightly unusual green on the side frames, and the clutch, wheels, and the engine cowling, fuel tank. And then the engine platform is this white. I've repainted that, and it probably should have been an off-white, but it was definitely a white colour. And handlebars too. Now, the real Mow has got a 2-piece handle. Now what we're going to do, we're going to have a look. I've got a vintage Qualcast manual here. Now I've been sort of looking through it, and we're just going to look at very briefly some pictures here. So it's quite obvious if we look at some pictures here. So we'll go up to the top here. We've got a pair of handles, and this is for a Suffolk Super Punch. We can see with the fuel tank mounted quite high, those are a 1-piece handle. I know the later Super Punches were sort of 2-piece. I think it was standard on the later one, and that was before the QX system. But handlebar assembly there. But if we go down a bit, we can have a look at this set of handles here. That looks like it's, well, it is, it's in 3 pieces. Fuel tank is slightly different and mounted sort of halfway down. But we've got here, they call that the knockdown handle assembly export trade. So those handles were obviously fitted to the Suffolk Punch export model. And that brings me back to the real Mow. Now that's got a 2-piece handle. Now I think probably what that's all about, this is what I'm guessing, is certainly if you were sending this machine, well anywhere really, but certainly if you were sending it abroad, I would think you would be keen to put it in as small a box as you possibly can. With the 2-piece handle, you could almost certainly put that whole mower probably in one box. They normally had a grass catcher as well, so that would have sort of collapsed as well. But the corporation, it's a 1-piece handle, so you would have needed either a much bigger box or another box to cater for the handles. So it sort of suggests that some of the difference on the export machines, not just the Suffolk Corporation Real Mow was the handlebars were 2-piece, the name, and also the colour scheme. So as far as I can see, that's about the only real differences on the machines. And I've got no doubt if you looked at some of the castings, you'd probably find they are exactly the same thing. The side frames and any of the other parts I've got over here. We'll just get that out and have a look. I've got another side frame here. This is off another Real Mow, but we've got a number on there, L7411RH. Guess right hand side. And no doubt if you took the corporation engine platform off, and well, you won't see it because it's obviously under the platform and above the cutting cylinder, but no doubt you'd probably find that exactly that same number. So quite interesting. But as I say, there's little differences, but there are differences, and that's what makes it interesting. So what I've also got here is I've got a sales brochure, a Qualcast sales brochure. Now, let's open it up. This has got nothing to do with exports, but it has got a bit to do with the corporation. I think it's quite interesting. So there we are, a Suffolk 19-inch corporation. So let's just read a little bit about what it says. So it says here, the 19-inch Suffolk Corporation has an open-fronted, 5-bladed cutting cylinder so that it tackles with ease semi-rough grass and areas such as paddocks and orchards. Fast cutting, robust, manoeuvrable, it's fully powered, propelled by a 98cc Suffolk 4-stroke engine and supplied complete with an easy fitted grass catcher. All Qualcast and Suffolk mowers are fully guaranteed and backed by the widest after-sales service network in the country. For details, see back cover. Now this catalogue, obviously this was when Qualcast had taken over Suffolk, also Webb and Atco. Quite interesting, and it's one of the last, I've got a few, one of the last I've found that actually has the corporation in it. The later ones, very, very, very similar, don't have it. So it's about that time when it ceased production. So I would be very interested looking at this brochure. I'm sure there are plenty of you that would be able to date, looking at the clothing, the dress code, the guy with the flares and the family there, what sort of age that brochure would be. I've got an idea, yeah, I think I would probably stick my head on the line and probably say about 1975, but I might be wrong. I'd be very interested. Comments welcome. So let's have a little look through this catalogue. So anyway, there you go. So you've got a lady there. She has got a 12-inch Qualcast Concord. That's a 240 volt cylinder mower. Cylinder mowers were quite big once upon a time. And obviously the Qualcast range, they did use blue in a lot of their machines. Yeah, there we go. And next door you've got the bigger version, which they call, I think, the Astronaut. Very similar thing, 240 volt, slightly wider cut cylinder mower. Let's turn a page. So we have here, we have a Qualcast Q7, which is a side wheel, a little bit like the corporation Real Mow, hand machine, 12-inch cut. box, and obviously can be used without the box. Next door we have the Qualcast Panther. That lady looks very elegant, doesn't she? Pushing proudly a Qualcast 12-inch Panther with the roller. Let's go over. So we've got another fairly unusual electric machine. I have seen them before. I think they're called the Rapide. 14-inch cut, cylinder. It's obviously a rear discharge. And 240 volt. Slightly horrible colour, that, I would say. So let's turn over again. So here we go. So we've got a Qualcast Rotor Mini. So that's a little 12-inch cut, no box, hand propelled, 240 volt electric mower for small areas of grass. And then we'll go on a bit. There we are. There's people thought battery machines are the latest thing. They've been going for a long time. So there is a Qualcast Panther, battery powered Panther, and as you can see, it does have a car type battery. 12-inch cut, and I think that's self-propelled. Probably we want to be anyway with a battery. So move on. There we are. So there's another picture there of a lady with a Qualcast Panther 240 volt, and she looks very, very happy to be using that mower. Head slightly tilted. She's very pleased with her mower. And those flares again. So there we are. That might help us with dating it. And then move to the right, we've got the 14-inch version. 240 volt again, but 14-inch cut. So we're going on to rotary mowers. So we've got here a Qualcast Jetstream. That's four-wheeled and hand-propelled and two-stroke. And I would say it probably has got probably a Aspira engine on it. It could be an AV600 or something a little bit before then, but petrol, two-stroke. And we have got next door, there we are. So we've got the same thing, 240 volt. Move across again. So we've got some award-winning, there we are, look at that. Award-winning Qualcast 18-inch Jetstream and 18-inch Deluxe Jetstream rotaries. So I don't know what the deluxe bit means, but I can see they've both got Briggs & Stratton engines. Maybe one of them is self-propelled, I don't know. But four-wheel rotaries. So let's turn a page again. So there we are. So we're looking at two mowers here that are probably, at one point, probably one of the UK's probably best-selling mowers. And I think it's probably fair to say that just about every person's father has possibly owned one of these. So we've got the 12-inch Suffolk Super Colt, and that one would have the 75cc cast iron engine. And then next door, the 14-inch Super Punch, and again that would have the 75cc cast iron. Last page, and then we're looking at obviously the 17-inch. This is the cast iron Super Punch mower, and that was offered in two variants. You had the standard domestic, which had a six-bladed, I think it was six-bladed cutting cylinder, wooden front rollers, very good mower, 17-inch cut, and that would have the 98cc as fitted to the corporation in real mow. And then if we just shift over a bit, we can see the cutting cylinder for the Super Punch Professional. I think that is, it probably says it there, it's probably a 10-bladed cutting cylinder, and you've got a steel front roller, and that would have been aimed at sort of bowls, clubs, pitch and putt, croquet, sort of fine grass, semi-professional, professional machine. And there we are. So we're going to finish on the last one here, which is obviously the Suffolk Corporation, and that would have been one of the last ones. And a little bit like the real Mow, we can see we've got the plastic rollers on the back and the nice chrome plated hubcaps are now painted. We probably can't see it, but that would have the plastic recoil on it on the side there. So that would have been one of the last of the Suffolk Corporations, and the livery is obviously the green and the off-white on the engine and the handles. So there we are. Yeah, I'd be interested in your thoughts, see what you chaps think, what sort of date that catalogue would be. I'm going to stick my neck out, as I said, about 1975. See what you think, and comments most welcome. So a fairly short video. I hope you enjoyed it, and for the American viewers, anybody seen or got one, a Suffolk Real Mow, I'd be interested, because I'm sure they would have been aimed at the American market. So good, lovely, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.